white neurons.
definitely
It is cope.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's a lot of
There's some
cope in
copium happening here.
But you know, not only I am coping a lot, but See You Soon themselves as well after I would, for the lack of better words, a very difficult game one. So hopefully game number 2 will be a lot better, with Bigatron Alpha still in first pick and See You Soon on second pick. We run through things with a Phobias, a Jawhead, Fanny, and a Loi Ban.
I think we've already seen from their past performance that Bigatron is a team that actually takes team fights very well. As the whole reason that they were able to defend games so long against one of the top teams in the world, Team Liquid ID right now. So when they were given such a powerful team fight draft in game number 1, it already put a lot of difficulty onto CU Soon's side. Even if they wanted to play a scrappier type of game, I feel like they leaned a bit too heavily into it, and it went from scrappy to basically zero connection at all, and that is something they need to avoid at all costs. You cannot be giving a Bigatron such a huge advantage just directly in the draft.
Oh, with all that, at this point in time, what other heroes is currently still available? Granger, that's one. Granger, Joy, Suyo, and Jusin.
Yeah.
Jusin is still currently available on board too.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's gonna be a massive trade. Thing is, if Bigatron Alpha get the juice in, you still have the Suyo and Granger available for See You Soon. I wouldn't be so mad at them rushing. Okay,
They're leaving it open.
Okay, they want to give the juice in. Yeah, a little bit of a draft change actually, because Bigatron Alpha banned See You Soon's last ban in game 1, which was the Hilda. So that's where the difference is going to be coming in. With no Suyo now, Granger Juice is still open. So they get the Granger instead. And yeah, I think because of how See You Soon played, Bigatron Alpha are now reading as they are a team that we can give juice into.
I feel like that's not something you want to hear, right? It's like,
Yep.
we can give Zeus into you guys. It's perfectly fine. I feel like that's very...
Sounds like a famous last word.
That's very demoralizing.
Yeah.
I mean, given the performance in game number 1, I think that they need to have a little bit of a uplifting of their spirits by playing a Jusin, because let's be honest here, that's how Jusin uplift people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. She
Straight-
does
actual,
uplift people.
literally.
Actual uplifting.
Yes.
But in a bad way. You're doing so good, hurts you.
They finish it up with the first phase R1 and R2 with the Juicin and the Joy. So Suyo, oh wait, no, never mind. Suyo is banned. So one of the other possibilities that Bigatron Alpha can be looking out for.
Well, the Alpha Matilda is open.
Oh, actually, speaking of which, we haven't seen Alpha Matilda a lot
Yeah.
these 2 days.
Yeah.
Just go Hayabusa at this point, honestly.
Also not bad.
Just go early.
Wow,
Oh,
okay.
Let's go.
Okay.
Some early Haya and then get something stable. Oh, that's stable.
okay.
I like it.
Okay. At this point in time, Renma, I think you can just kind of predict the entire Bigatron Alpha's lineup.
Not really. But thank you for.
It's close enough.
Yeah.
I think it's a good amount at this point.
I mean, he loves the Hakai. At one point in time, he's definitely going to be calling it out anyways.
I was gonna say though, this should not be a Romakai. This is 100% an EXP Akai.
Well, they can leave it flexible. That's one of the strengths of the hero at this
True.
point in the draft, right?
But I will admit, maybe it's just because I suck at the game. But I've tried Akai Roam up against a Juicin. It was not fun.
Almost any slow, tanky roamer against a
Yeah.
Zusin is not fun.
Yeah, I mean he does have a considerable dash, but I still did not enjoy it.
I see.
A dash doesn't mean anything when Zusin just like pops a lantern on top of you and suddenly you
And
get
outs you
lifted
as
up
well.
somewhere else. You know?
Yeah.
It's just not a fun situation. So I agree with you in that Akai as a roam would not feel comfortable here, but it's still a flexible option depending on how the rest
Yeah.
of the draft goes. It's already a very good counter to the Joy in the first place, so I don't think they're too worried about that. Personally, I don't feel like they need the Bancho, just for reasons, but it's fine.
Honestly, at this point in time, I kind of find it funny. No, okay, maybe not that funny, but I love the fact that See You Soon were originally drafting for Lucas in second phase by banning the CC and banning the Valentina. This
Oh
time
yeah,
they're like,
in game 1.
yeah, this time they're like, okay, you know what? Let's just pick the Lucas and then we ban his opponents.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea at all. In this case though, do they still
Is
want
it
to
worth
ban
it,
the
though?
CC? Because Akai has a high possibility of being the EXP laner, in which case you would just kind of end up banning an unnecessary hero when there's already a lot more you have to worry about.
Oh.
Huh.
So it's either the way whereby they are telling Bigatron Alpha to pick the CC so that your Akai goes to the roam, and so that our Jusin will be able to have a good time against you, kind of thing.
That might be the play here, because the Akai Lucas matchup, it's sort of dead weight, because if this Akai goes revitalize, it's even.
Well, technically speaking, I don't expect any death in the EXP lane, but
Yeah,
it's more the
right?
fact that Lucas can leave his lane earlier, which I would still assume that there will be a lot more brawls going on in the northern river just
Yeah.
because of the joy.
Yeah, and plus Lucas has that innate ability to. He does have that spell vamp, which is pretty chunky all throughout the game. It's sort of it evens out what the Kai brings out. So it's a dead lane.
Yeah. I feel like some of this is a little bit strange though. The Zask
Yeah.
being banned out is not what I would expect. Like,
on
Eve is still wide open at this point, and Bigatron can still go for like heavy pickoff comps with like the Farsa and stuff to outrange the Zusin. I do like that Yusun have taken the Gatot away. They don't want to give Bigatron just this massive wall to play around. So now neither Hylos or Gatot is open to them. They do ideally need another frontliner to be able to supplement Akai, but almost any tanky frontliner is going to have difficulty into the Zusin anyway.
On another note, right, with both the Irithel as well as the Harif being available to be picked for See You Soon, with the ban of the Zas, just kind of spells to me they want the Harif really badly. They don't want to be denied the Diamond Force just from a
Yeah.
single Dominator's descent.
Oh, but that's a good amount of magic damage. Their main physical damage dealer will just be Lucas.
Yeah. It would be a bit too much magic.
Yeah, they need physical.
I think they can still keep it open. The fact that they've left this hero for the very last is to just see what the full lineup from Bigatron is going to be and then determine between Harif or Irithel.
yeah.
And yeah, I think Irithel is
That would be a
better
better,
here.
yeah.
But Bigatron do get the Eve again. At the very least this time, there's no double revitalize Hylos Gatot for See You Soon to deal with, and I think they're more complete here with that Zusin to get that mid lane prio, so there's a bit more for them to play around.
They decided to dead lane EXP. It is an EXP Akai. The Khalid will do a good job at roaming. Irithel. Yeah, it's not going to be the easiest hero to catch if you're Bigatron Alpha, actually. No, I
Akai
kinda like
can
it.
never catch up to him. Or rather, they could never catch up to the Irithel.
You're just really hoping that you can somehow catch Nomad off guard. See You Soon just really needs to make sure that Joy doesn't go down in the first 5 minutes. You want a clean farming pattern for the Joy. So once that goes in, you're pretty good.
I think the light at the end of the tunnel for See You Soon seems to be a little bit brighter for this game.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say game number 2, there is a lot more of a fight that See You Soon could go for, and hopefully they will be eased up of the pressure right after this. So hopefully, you know, this match point will look a little bit better. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going into the Land of Dawn, game number 2 between See You Soon versus Bigatron Alpha.
Let's just see how bright the light at the end of the tunnel is for See You Soon. Will this lineup be enough to force a game number 3 against Bigatron Alpha? Again, it's all about the execution, but it all begins with the draft, something that you made a big point about earlier, Staffa. What do you feel about See You Soon's draft?
Well, it definitely feels more complete this time. It gives them the option to play front to back, or if they want, they can actually still lean into the same sort of scrappy style we saw from them in game number 1, right? If you can turn the robots themselves into scrap metal, it's going to feel a lot more comfortable for you going forward, but they need to be able to hit those timings. The fact that they have Joy Zusin and Irithel means that they're actually lacking a lot of early game burst, and that's a timing Bigatron can take advantage of.
Let's see how aggressive Bigatron will be to delay the eventual burst that will come in on the hands of the Joy. And of course, when Lucas hits level 4 and maybe gets his first item locked in, still nothing too crazy happening except in the bottom lane already. Super Ken forcing Nomad behind that tower, and he is going to be dropping a minion or 2 up against Eman. But See You Soon with the assist. Already Shadow Kill committed. Super Ken a little bit too deep. Gets caught out by Ryzen and Branteezy.
Yeah, a bit too greedy there from Super Ken. I like the rotation into the gold lane to try and help Eman win out lane priority, but you used your quad shadow to achieve that and then stuck around to farm the camp. You know that Ryzen is going to be reaching this side of the map at this point in time, so you gotta be able to weigh the pros and cons, and there you got punished for not being able to do so.
Well, you can say the Super Ken got to reset his position, but I prefer to not see him give up that kill. But he is here. He is getting his purple buff. Ryzen will be nearby, has a level gap against Super Ken, but he will be hitting level 5 once he gets this purple buff secured. But it looks like they're not going to be contesting for that turtle. And see you soon. I don't think they've read the situation just yet. The Super Ken does not want to take it.
Yeah, See You Soon is not quite as good at holding neutral objectives in comparison. They're more of a counter-engage comp, ideally wasting resources on Bigatron, especially that heavy spin and RWM before they enter with heroes like the Joy, right? And Achira is going to be a very good way of scouting out bushes and keeping control of the frontliners to make sure that See You Soon can play a slightly slower team fight, which, as you can see now, Bigatron has a bit more difficulty looking for angles of entry compared to before.
Here's the spots of the Hayabusa, but See You Soon are still hesitating. Brand TZ goes in, already forcing out his Revitalize just so he can survive the pokes that he got. He jumps out Avatar of Guardian, does not catch Ken, knocked back by Luke with a heavy spin, and Super Ken, despite that long process, still goes in and gets the turtle, but See You Soon gets a kill onto Light.
Very suspicious decision-making happening here in bot lane.
Eman and Nomad, will Nomad be able to take him? No, a Super Ken gets him.
Yeah, suspicious decision-making from See You Soon. I like that they're taking it slow to take advantage of Zusi. Oh, Ryzen!
Able to punish. Commits a flicker out of Eman. Eman under tower, but Ryzen doesn't mind. Luke is able to actually get a kill onto Nijas. Up top, Rantizi gonna get caught out. He's trying to walk away. He doesn't have his Revitalize, but is able to spell vamp just a little bit. Moreno with the pokes. Rantizi and See You Soon gets away.
Yeah, See You Soon needs to be more active like this. I do like what they're doing. Now Ryzen being able to pick up another kill on Eman this time is going to be huge, because now this Joy is genuinely a core that they can play around. But I think from the past 2 games we've been able to see a big issue with Brantizi is that he's just a bit too trigger happy. There is no reason to use your AOG like that. Hayabusa can definitely get past it. You should have positioned it a little further in front of him to just cut him off from the mid push. Instead, it just ended up not really contributing to anything. And then, even though See You Soon had control of the turtle way earlier than Bigatron and knew Super Ken was on bot side, he still came by to pick it up.
Despite everything that has happened, you can definitely say that See You Soon playing a little bit better in this one.
Yeah.
Not as clean as we would prefer, but definitely a much stronger fighting spirit from them here and a much stronger sense of execution. Avatar of Guardian is going to get committed. Eman just able to get past it, but Super Ken finds a Chira in the back. Brad TZ was trying to help and defend his gold laner, but it turns sacrifice the mid. Ryzen sees Light. Light flickers away. No electrifying beats. It was already committed.
I don't think Light should have quicksand guarded in that specific spot, but it's fine since he's still able to get out, though it does end up wasting a flicker. Rantizi again, using the AOG a bit too early. I like that he's trying to cut off Eman from his escape, but you should know that he can just easily dash over the wall from that position.
Oh, Luke with a flicker, heavy spin, alongside the real world manipulation, finds a Ryzen easily, and it looks like a massive win is on the way for Bigatron Alpha. Brand TZ walks out, Nijas unleashes the beast, and Bigatron Alpha forces him back as they will get this turtle without a problem.
And Light continuing to zone out the rest of See You Soon so Super Ken can get it with even a less issue overall. We actually talked about this before the game started, Renmar. You highlighted how you were wondering why some EXP lane Akais would go for the flicker over the Revitalize. I think that was the clearest example of why it can be good. The aggressive play, catching out Ryzen, removing the Joy before the fight even starts. If the turtle wasn't easy enough, it just became free for Bigatron there. So really good call by Luke to get things started. And this is why Bigatron does put some emphasis onto this Panda.
Yep. The surprise factor. Not the first time we saw him do it. We saw a very iconic one yesterday when they faced off against Team Liquid Indonesia. Same thing. Flicker, heavy spin, surprise, and Moreno already real world manipulation. He doesn't care that he's under or close to the tower as Rising gets spotted out by Bigatron Alpha. That's 2 down. Nomad falls down as well. The main sources of damage gone, but Ninja's trying to get something. Moreno gets taken out, but it's just Moreno as See You Soon loses 2. Might be a third if Ninja doesn't get away. Luke, heavy spin under tower to get away, uses the headbutt dash as well to get himself free.
A very wordy trade there for Bigatron Alpha, with Moreno going for a very aggressive RWM positioning, willing to sacrifice his life to set up for more objectives and kills. Bigatron were able to get 2 towers and a kill on the jungler and gold lane for that, while only trading their own mid lane to do it. You can see how scattered See You Soon was because they were not prepared for this kind of call. Bigatron, the synergy, while isn't the cleanest yet, you can see is really slowly building up over the course of this challenge finals. And See You Soon, they got a lot of catching up to do.
BTR are pushing See You Soon back. Super Ken almost took down Achira single-handedly, committing his ultimate, but Achira was way too deep in his own base. Super Ken decided to back off, but BTR continued to take towers and control of the map. From what was a better start compared to game number 1, See You Soon now finds themselves in a familiar, uncomfortable territory. Luke uses the heavy spin, still able to catch up Rantizi, but the follow-up is not going to be enough as the counterplay by See You Soon is here, but Bigatron Alpha's lead is just way too much. But SYS still able to get Emman and Luke down, with Ryzen coming in late just at the right time.
Yeah, actually not a bad counter engage at all coming in from See You Soon. They covered every single angle to punish Bigatron for pushing too far up in the bot lane. And now they're looking for Light.
Light looks like he's going to be the next victim of See You Soon, of finding the counter punish. Now a killing spree for Achira. And See You Soon, it looked bad, but now they have a chance. They just really need to be careful and time things out.
Yeah, they gotta capitalize on this though. They have managed to force scrappiness from Bigatron by hiding in places they wouldn't expect and going in on off-tempo timings to punish with their ultimates. Ryzen has finally picked up his Holy Crystal as well. So this is now actually a huge opportunity for them since they've been able to regain a little bit of that map control. They cannot afford to give Bigatron more space here, and this Lord, they can actually afford to give it away if it's in exchange for more resources elsewhere.
30k to 25k, or getting close to that. This is still within reach of actually forcing a defense here. You just really have to be careful and not lose it. It's going to be risky, but we've seen teams more often than not around this time, if it's just a 5k, 4k difference, they're willing to take it. But Achira gets caught out, able to get out just in time, as the ultimate of the Hayabusa is not going to be able to take down that juice in. The fight has broken out as Ryzen already using the electrifying beats to get away. Nee just goes in as he gets taken down by Emman. You see Ryzen getting taken out by Emman as well. A double kill for the gold laner. See You Soon are still dancing to the Sonata of Emman, but Ryzen counters it, takes down Super Ken, but with him down as well, that is a Lord for BTR still.
Man, I actually want to... Achira! This Zuzin is so squishy at this point. You can see just how much damage Bigatron has under their belt. But I personally want a highlight cam specifically on Super Ken in that fight alone. His ultimate chunked out 2 people, then he kept jumping in and out to chunk out 2 more all by himself. And
what a reposition by Light, using the flicker to go to the left, but he gets punished, even though he committed the Raging Sandstorm. A little bit too eager, and See You Soon were ready to capitalize.
That is a little bit jumping the gun there from Light. I like the idea. The execution was great as well, but See You Soon is actually in position to block off the rest of the DPSs from following up on it. So because of that, Bigatron actually lack the numbers now, and since it's only the first Lord of the game, they are not going to be able to get an inhibitor from this one.
Still a 2-level gap between the junglers. Super Ken is at 15, Ryzen at 13. Item-wise though, do you think this is enough, or does he need one more Ryzen?
I personally think we're gonna need to see a little bit more here. Super Ken just picked up BOD though, so
yeah.
If he wasn't already doing a ton of damage before, he's gonna be hitting even out though. Emman! Mistake!
He gets caught out, and now Season are going in for the chase, but Nomad took a lot of damage. Super Ken committing the shadow kill, takes down Achira, and Season have built an advantage that they can't seem to capitalize on. The heavy spin by Luke and the real-world manipulation by Moreno. We talked about chemistry, we talked about timing, and BTR looks perfect in that regard.
M1 definitely made a mistake by walking too far forward and getting pulled into the tower there, but the rest of his team was ready to make up for all of that, and Luke
goes in with the knock-up, and with the Irithel able to punish. This might be too deep, but Nomad gets taken out. He goes with a double kill, but with Achira and Brantizi remaining, Eman will not be enough to end it by himself. Bigatron Alpha looked like they were a little bit too excited.
Excited is, I think, an accurate way of describing what happened there. They really should not have gone that deep. They already managed to recuperate the loss of Eman's mistake, and then suddenly they decide to all throw their bodies into the tower as well. Eman in trouble, actually.
And he looks like he's gonna get caught out. Oh, but no, he escapes, commits a flicker, but here comes Rise and electrifying beats. He finds the Granger, and just like that, see you soon. They might be able to win this as they now have a much better start for themselves in this upcoming Lord.
And you can see just how quickly momentum can swing the moment you make a single mistake. Bigatron, they should not have dived so deep. Even losing Eman wasn't actually that big a deal until the rest of them decided to join him in the afterlife and basically award free money to See You Soon. The net worth difference now is basically zero. You can look at the gold graph and how quickly it has swung thanks to 2 consecutive deaths on their gold laner. Now they're gonna contest the Lord.
Super Ken, somehow, some way, can it go his way as Brantizi, what a read, finds Super Ken, a knock-up by the Lord. Luke is actually taking Ryzen out of the equation, but Nomad gets taken out by Eman. He is able to take down the Eve, but Ryzen gets taken down, or excuse me, Ryzen takes down Luke. Still an advantage for See You Soon, but they're lacking the damage as big-ticket ultimates are out of their hands.
Ooh, these fights are messy. It's really messy, and I don't actually like it very much. I feel like there's too much reactiveness happening here, where basically the cores on both sides are being completely separated. There is actually no formation to the team fights at all. We talked about how See You Soon actually wants to play scrappy, so the fact that they're forcing Bigatron to adapt to it is actually really, really good. Bigatron should be the ones in control here. They got so many more tools to prevent See You Soon from splitting them up apart, and they're just kind of lowering themselves to playing the same sort of game, which they're actually a little less equipped for.
The unique Cambodian flair of their MLBB playstyle. When it's going good, it is so annoying to go up against because all rhyme and reason goes away and you're going up against a team filled with players who just love the thrill of the fight. Looking at the items, is there anything that's standing out that might be the turnaround?
Looking at the itemization, oh, War Axe last item for Eman here, so very much intending to respond in terms of team fighting. Otherwise, nothing too unusual. See You Soon controlling the Lord again, but they're taking a lot of poke damage.
Yeah, they're already poked down really low. This might be very dangerous for them. Nomad in the back. Nijas goes in already. AOG, but it's gonna be avoided. Bigatron Alpha looks like they might be able to run away with this as Super Ken wins the retry. Ryzen wasn't in the right spot. They took too much poke and they lost their footing and slipped yet again. Ryzen takes down Luke, but it looks like he's up next to the chopping block, but he takes down Light. He can still fight, but can they actually stop this? The minions crashing in. Bigatron Alpha looking to take the win. Are they still programmed to do it? As Ryzen with electrifying beats stops Eman. The Winter Crown by Moreno taunting him. Eman takes down Ryzen. The Granger still lives. The War Axe coming in at the clutch, but it's not over yet. There is still a Lord for See You Soon to deal with.
Okay, Bigatron needed to be the ones taking command of the fight to make sure that See You Soon isn't forcing them into scrappy positions. And that's exactly what happened around the Lord. They were the ones to take initiative and capture them one by one. See You Soon made the mistake of trying to continue the fight, But then after that, Bigatron starts to get a little bit too big for their britches. I like that light stayed behind to try and stop Ryzen from catching up, even sacrificing his life to make sure that he wouldn't be able to recall in time, but I think he overestimated his durability against a late game Joy. And because of that, SYS are actually still holding at this point. Their late game scaling has kicked in. They actually can put up a solid team fight here. So despite them definitely being on the back foot in terms of structures, they can actually still take this if Bigatron is not careful.
We have to recognize and acknowledge that Brantizi has not died this entire game.
He
is
hasn't?
1-0 and 12.
Wow.
Night and day performance, again, not the cleanest entries and usages of the Avatar of Guardian, but he survived and made the most out of all the situations that he found himself in or made for himself. Deathless is a roamer that struggled in game number 1. SYS still sees the light at the end of the tunnel, but how will they get it? Where do they get it from?
I do think that they still have to play a little bit more patiently, but keep themselves active to scout out the movements of Bigatron Alpha. I think Bigatron have realized now that they're the ones that need to start the fights themselves. They gotta pay attention to where SYS is, and if resources come out early, then they're the ones that can start by initiating. I really like the timing that Luke went in with the heavy spin as well to zone Ryzen off the Lord so that Super King could get it easily. But because he committed it to zoning rather than catching, there was no other tool for Bigatron to lock down the Joy anymore. That's why he went so far, got so many kills, and basically stopped Bigatron's attempt to end the game by himself. So if SYS actually hold on to their resources a little bit longer, they can continue to force Bigatron in these situations and then come in when they're exhausted.
Looks like a contention for this Lord might be too difficult, too tall a task. As Bigatron Alpha are melting it already. Ryzen close enough, but the other members of SYS are not in the right spot. Might be a little bit too risky to actually contest this, and they let it go. Knock up by the Lord. He just got the info, but SYS says, we will wait, and we will try to hold out in the next push.
That Lord knockup was actually kind of scary for Bigatron.
Yeah, right? If
Super
Ryzen
Ken
was
getting
there.
knocked up there was really bad. If Ryzen was close enough, 100% SYS would have stolen it, but luckily for Bigatron, they're still able to secure that. And for now, it's going to be a 5v5 base defense for SYS, but this is an 18-minute Lord, so it's not going to be an easy one.
Is it too tall of an ask for SYS to hold out? Maybe even push out if they can defend really well, but Ninja's already brought down so low. Avatar of Guardian is big, but the damage is bigger. Coming in from Bigatron. The members of SYS are still holding it on, but Ninja's already taken down Achira, takes down Luke. The counterplay is there, but Rising gets taken out by Super Ken. And Bigatron, they still have the Lord. They have 3 against 3. You can count the Lord in there, but you can count it out. Nomad already brought low. He's still able to free it. He takes down Moreno. He sidesteps
Super
the
Ken!
Sandstorm. Super Ken can stay. He can try, but he will fall. But the minions, will it be enough? Can Light end it? He does it, but the minions end it for the red robots.
The Winions of Bigatron Alpha came up, and that is quite a game. This is a very long and drawn out game, and to be honest, see you soon. Their scrappiness in battle